Hi, and welcome to this mini webinar. My name is Maartje Puts. I work for the Are You OK campaign at Rutgers, the Dutch Knowledge Center for Sexual Health and Rights. Maybe you've already seen these posts in the pub, at your campus or students' association. The Are You OK campaign calls on everyone to have a great time together while going out, by addressing sexual harassment in a positive way. The campaign message is, see someone's being harassed? Ask the question, are you okay? This way we can all have a great time and it becomes clear to everyone that sexual harassment is not accepted and should be addressed in a very early stage. And also what you can do when you see someone's being harassed or someone seems not okay. That's what we're going to talk about in the next 15 minutes. Why is this important to discuss unwanted sexual behavior? Well, studies show that everyone has different boundaries for what he or she likes or dislikes. Maybe you like it when you're kissed by a complete stranger at a concert or on the dance floor, but someone else may not be waiting for that at all. And of course, you can't magically know the boundaries of another. So it is really important that you check. Check where the boundaries are, because unwanted sexual behavior is still too common. More than half of the women have been groped, and 1/3 of the men. And this was asked within the last year when this research was done. And you see that most part this happened while going out. And that is not okay, of course. But before we go any further, I would like to ask you to see for yourself if you can recall times when you did not like how someone's approached you. What is your own boundary? And what do you think is okay? Do you like it when someone comes very close to you? When you get a drink at the bar? And what's it like for you when you get sexual comments while dancing with your friends? And when someone's touching your arms, your chest, or maybe your butt? Where is your heart limit? And then I would like to invite you to think back on a night out. Have you ever seen unwanted sexual behavior? At your clubhouse maybe, or in the pub? And how did you recognize that it didn't seem right to one of the two persons that you were observing? Now I would like to ask you to find out for yourself whether you have ever crossed someone's line. Maybe with a fellow student? With a stranger? How do you actually know what someone else's boundary is? In the coming weeks, you will go out with a group of new students to get to know each other and introduce them to your city, have a great time together, a perfect moment to talk about this within your group. So in this mini training, you will learn about the causes of unwanted sexual behavior and how to recognize them. You will also receive tips on how to make agreements with your group to check whether everyone's okay and how you can help if you notice that someone's feeling uncomfortable. We start with the underlying causes of sexual harassment. As said before, it is difficult for everyone to monitor their own boundaries and to test those of the others well. It is also something that people feel scary to do. But beyond that, there are other factors that play a big role. Alcohol and drugs, peer pressure. These factors ensure that you are less likely to be inhibited in your own behavior. This makes it difficult to recognize in yourself and in the other where the boundary is. Peer pressure we suffer from And in the case of unwanted sexual behavior, it's really difficult, and it ensures, for example, boys have to show their friends that they are tough by arranging a girl, and then double standards and traditional beliefs about how to behave as a boy, as a girl. Girls should be sexy and dance sexy and are seen by some men as easy or a slut when they do so. And this view almost gives a license to sit with someone, just like that. This makes it difficult for women and girls to be sexy, but don't look like a slut, and be treated as an equal, and with respect. Men are expected to like the attention that they get from another, purely because they get attention, and they're expected to show initiative. But for them, it is then difficult to have the guts to approach the other person because the boundary is not always clear. Then you can just go over it. And that's not something that you want. Age, experience, and balance of power also play a major role in this, crossing each other's lines. Someone who is younger, inexperienced with sexual behavior and going out can be a victim more easily. Unwanted sexual behavior sometimes seems very harmless, and we have come to see it as a part of going out and have a great time. It just is something that happens there. But by discussing at an early stage whether it is fun for both of you, what is happening, you prevent someone from feeling inconvenient. Because most people do not like it, to be touched without permission. And moreover, it is very difficult for many people to set their own limits when they are in that situation. People freeze when something happens that they can't intervene themselves, that they don't like, and they can't intervene themselves at that moment. Women are also sometimes afraid that a man becomes aggressive if they reject him, and they're often not used to setting boundaries very clearly. People are also inclined to go far with the action of the other when they actually prefer not to. And by asking a neutral question, you offer someone in that difficult moment a helping hand. And if they both do like it and are wanting and enjoying it, then, of course, there's nothing to worry about. Because the neutral question, are you okay, does not blame anyone. You can prevent a lot by discussing undesirable behavior in advance. And of course, you want your students to have a good time. When you make appointments with your group, also discuss the importance of keeping an eye on each other and mention that it can happen when people flirt or kiss in one of the two, and one of the two may not want to. Of course, these things happen. Or that someone makes a sexual comment about someone else because he or she is dressed really sexy. Or that when someone is tipsy, the boundaries blur and it's nice when the others check if everything is okay. Ask the students in your group what they think is a nice way to check this with each other. For example, agree on a sign or a phrase such as, "Are you okay?" Always come to you if they think that someone is happening between other students that is not okay. So make agreements about this. How to do this? How can they reach you when you're not directly in the area? And how do you address each other in these moments? Well, what are signals of sexual harassment? It is important that you can distinguish the signals yourself so that you can intervene in time, but also discuss the signals with the group so that they can intervene in time. First of all, trust your own insight, your gut feeling. If it doesn't feel okay, if you think, hey, is this okay? Then that is the time to check if someone is really okay. If it doesn't feel okay, that's the time. In addition to your gut feeling, you can recognize from various signals whether the situation is okay or not okay. It often involves unwanted touches, grabbing, unwanted kisses, or sexual comments. For example, a student from your group who makes a comment about that very short skirt to a fellow student, or a student who stands or dances very close to the other, or when a student is drunk and is taken home by someone else or by more people. In addition to your gut feeling, you can recognize from various signals whether the situation is not okay. It often involves unwanted touches. I already explained this. If someone gives a negative reaction to the attempts of the other, it is undesirable. A negative reaction can be getting angry, pushing someone away, but always that someone is startled and stiff, or that the person tries to break free or runs away. Pay special attention to situations in which power difference plays a role. I mentioned this before, like an older boy or man with a younger student, or a group of guys standing around a girl. How can you intervene if you see someone's being harassed? Well, in the first moments, you check whether the situation you see is okay. Ask an open and neutral question to both people, like, are you okay? Is everything okay here? How are we doing? You can also check non-verbally whether the situation is okay. For example, by raising your thumb, making eye contact with the person you think is being harassed. Of course, it is nice if the situation was okay and both people have a good time. But what can you do if things don't go well? You've done the check, then what? Always make sure to get the person being harassed out of the situation as soon as possible and provide safety. You can do this with a simple, hey, come get me a drink, or let's go look in the other room. I have something to show you further down. Come on. If the person is out of the situation, ask if they want your help. In this way, someone can indicate themselves what they need and talk to you about it. Of course, it may be that the unwanted situation is over, but someone is still not okay. So put someone at ease. It's really important by responding empathically and letting them know that you want to help. If someone needs help, call the person in charge, the crew of the day, the intro committee, or the board of the students association you're with. Emphasize that it's okay for someone to ask for help. Make sure you know your responsible person is. Make sure you know who your responsible person is and that you can easily reach him or her. Put their numbers in your phone. Was a student assaulted or raped? Always believe them and don't ask detailed questions. Make sure the student is in a safe place. Stay with them and call in your supervisor. It is important not only to remove someone from the situation, if someone harasses other people, but also prevent it from happening again. So how to deal with someone who is harassing the students in your group? Or what do you do if someone from your own group is harassing someone else? Take the misbehaving person to a quieter place with security nearby. Ask neutral for his or her side of the story. What happened? What is going on? Then name which behavior of that person was not okay. Be brief and clear in this. For example, say, I saw that you touched him or her and that the person did not like it. That's not okay. We think it's important that everyone has a good time, so don't do this again. And then report what happened to the person responsible in the evening or in the introduction week. The person determines the consequence of the next step. Also watch yourself. Don't you feel safe in this moment? Then call in the crew, the intro committee, or the security person. Always report incidents to the committee. Is there an offense such as violence, assault, or rape? Immediately call the responsible person or security so that they can take care of this. And that is really important. So, after this mini webinar, you know everything about unwanted sexual behavior and how you can ensure that your group and yourself have a nice time during the introduction. Thank you very much for your attention, and we wish you a lot of fun with the new students. For more information in Dutch, go to www.benjeoké.nl. Thank you very much for listening, and goodbye.